So in the UK, there's a proposed law where people who talk to children, let's say, a child doesn't know what gender he or she is and is contemplating changing their gender. And keep in mind, these are children. That if a parent or a teacher tries to talk to them and say, hey, I think you should wait till you're an adult, or maybe you're better off the way you are, something like that, they can face up to 5 years jail time in the UK. Now, I think that's absolutely insane, right? I mean, like a child, like by definition, and whether you look at it legally from an anthropological way or, like developmental psychology, you're looking at it like the development of their epistemology, their ability to reason. They don't really have an independent ability to reason, but that's the whole point. Like they're growing up into having that ability. So hopefully when they become an adult, they have the ability to think independently. And of course, that varies from person to person. You get some people are more intellectually developed. That might hit that a little bit earlier. You get some people that never hit it, or actually a lot of people that don't. But nonetheless, a parent would have the interest of that child, right? Hopefully, at least in theory. And certainly better than what the government would, or especially a government like the UK would have. Or at least, like I said, that's the way it should work. But, to put people in jail because, let's say if I talk to a child, like a child says, well, I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl. And, I would say, well, biologically, this is who you are. And, it's just something that, you maybe you can think about it, but, focus on your studies, focus on trying to gain the ability to be, when I say virtuous, I mean, in the sense of being more effective at controlling who you are, controlling your environment, things like that. Be more effective in your ability to do critical thinking. I would teach the child how to do critical thinking. Develop them into hopefully a better adult. And I would say to that child, wait until you become an adult and then, see what it is. I think more than likely it's some kind of it's probably induced by propaganda, obviously. And it's also, and by the way, I would even consider taking the child out of that school that he or she is in if they're questioning that. So that would be a red flag if they're pushing that kind of propaganda onto those children. But imagine a state pushing propaganda like that, and then the child's confused. It's a child, doesn't have the ability to do critical reasoning. And the parents are threatened with jail time if they say, hey, that's propaganda. You're a boy or a girl or whatever, and you're a child, you're not capable of making those kind of decisions. I mean, it's to be perfectly blunt, it's evil. It's nihilistic. It's this, under the guise of egalitarianism. Well, let's be fair to everybody, but it is evil to create such a system where, like normal interactions, like normally a parent would say, hey, wait a second, something's wrong here. I should take my child out of the school, talk to the child, hey, you're a boy or a girl, whatever. But if this is something that persists, I mean, you become an adult, then that's on you. To put somebody in jail for something like that, up to 5 years in jail for something like that, that is absolutely insane. So anyway, I'm not making this up, by the way. I'll post a link in the description below. And it actually talks about the proposal in the UK to do this. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if Australia, New Zealand, and Canada are not far behind, by the way, either.